What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA, and yep, here we go again. Another box office prediction. This time, I'm going to try to predict the opening night, opening weekend, and domestic total and worldwide for Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore. As you can remember, last week I accurately to the number predicted the total opening weekend for Sonic the Hedgehog. Nailed it right down to the nose. What about Ambulance? We're not talking about Ambulance right now. We're talking about Sonic and how well I did nailing that one. And so we're going to see if I can do the same thing for Fantastic Beasts. Let's go ahead and jump into this particular article. This is the long-range box office forecast for Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore. This is on Box Office Pro, where the movie fans go. Let's go ahead and check this out. Now, it starts off with the pros. And obviously the first one it mentions right off the bat, the Harry Potter fan base remains a tight-knit force more than 20 years after the first film. They will certainly be the driver of the opening week attendance, especially young women. Good Friday and Easter weekend should benefit early business to some extent as well. All right, yeah, we know that the Harry Potter Potterheads are going to come out in force. They're going to be dressed up like witches and wizards. They're going to have the little wands. They're going to have the Gryffindor and Ravenclaw and all the Slytherin and everything else. They're going to have all of that stuff dressed up to the nines to come out and watch this film. And yeah, they are always really solid when it comes to producing numbers for this particular franchise. And this franchise has gotten some good press recently because there's Hogwarts Legacy coming out, right? That video game is supposed to come out sometime this year, so that kind of generated buzz and the excitement for the fan base. So you figure, yeah, this is a way, because the video game isn't out yet, so this is a way for them to kind of get their little Harry Potter, Wizarding World juices going. And so yeah, folks will show up. Now, how many show up? How many come back for repeat viewings? If this film is good enough, that remains to be seen. We'll get to some of the early word about this film in just a moment. And it also mentions Good Friday and the Easter weekend. I don't know how much that's going to impact it. It should do some positive business, maybe Thursday night, because some folks will say, well, Good Friday, Thursday night, we don't really have much to do. We'll go ahead and do something. Let's go ahead and check out Harry Potter, because on Good Friday we're gonna be busy. I don't know if that might cut a little bit extra money for this on Thursday night previews, but we'll see. The other thing it mentions here, of course, is the trailer and the social sentiment for fans who have been cautiously positive for this particular film. The trailers have absolutely looked great. Now, that much I will say. The trailers have looked phenomenal. I don't think Harry Potter fans could ask for anything more in terms of trailers. They look exciting. They look comical. It looks like there's a lot of adventure. And yeah, so I think that the trailers look pretty good, and that's definitely going to help out. It says here that fans are particularly interested not just to see the increased role of Jude Law's Dumbledore, but also the series' primary villain Grindelwald, with Mads Mikkelsen taking over the role from Johnny Depp. Now, I don't know about that. I'm not sure if the Dumbledore piece is a big deal. I mean, it definitely could be, but I do know that Mikkelsen is getting the absolute rave reviews right now. His reviews have been coming in great. People like him. I honestly, liked Johnny Depp as Grindelwald. He was okay, but his performance didn't blow me away. So everything that I'm hearing about Matt Mikkelsen's playing Grindelwald is very positive. It seems like this guy kind of steals the show in a certain sense. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he looks there. Now, let's get to the cons. It says here that the Fantastic Beasts: Crimes of Grindelwald was the first notable misfire in the Wizarding Worlds franchise. Yes, it was. It was definitely down from where Fantastic Beasts was overall, and then the critical reviews, I mean, it got absolutely slayed. 36, I thought it was 35%, but it says 36% here with the 54% audience score. Yeah, and obviously that film had a lot going on, and it was very convoluted. I enjoyed it in certain parts, and I could follow it somewhat, but yeah, I can see why people have struggles with that film. So people are kind of like, I don't know if I want to return to this series yet, considering how the last film did. It doesn't flow smoothly from film 1 right into film 2. What's film 3 going to be? So, I think that's going to be a big con, unfortunately. It also says here that Dumbledore opens in the first crowded corridor of the pandemic since the last year, so the competition will be notable. It's talking about Sonic. It's talking about the bad guys. Still got Morbius coming out, and then next week, another film, which I think is going to make a little bit of noise, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. We'll get to that as well. But I think that those 2 or 3 or 4 films all clogged together in the same kind of space, that's going to be a problem for this film. Especially second weekend. I think first weekend it's probably going to do, pretty decently. But the second weekend, that's going to be tough for that one. All right. It also goes on to mention in this section here how women haven't really been coming back to movies, adult women, and that's, a big chunk of the Potter fan base. So that's going to be a problem. It also talks about the backlash towards J.K. Rowling. That might also impact this movie. There's also the, impact of Johnny Depp. I know folks who have said they won't come see this movie strictly because what happened to Johnny Depp, right? And right now you have the Depp trial going on, kind of reminding them of that. If they kind of forgot about it, like, oh yeah, it was fantastic. Be like, oh, wait a minute. Isn't this the movie where they replaced Johnny Depp and that? Oh yeah, no, I'm not going to see this. There are people that are going to have that opinion, and with the Depp trial going on this particular week, couldn't have been a worse time to have that going on to remind everybody of what's happening. So yeah, I think with that happening, and then of course Doctor Strange, coming in a couple of weeks, Fantastic Beasts is going to be up against it, but will it make its money? We're going to get to that in just a moment. But first thing, let's kind of look at some of the reviews, because there are reviews that are out right now. And so far, 59% on Rotten Tomatoes. Not horrible, but definitely not what you want to see if you're Warner Brothers, if you're the Fantastic Beasts franchise. So 59%. That's a problem. It's only 94 reviews, so that's something to consider, because if it's only 94 reviews, I think the last one got over 300 reviews. So there's still about, 2/3 of the reviews that are going to come in for this movie still to come. So we'll see what happens, but let's kind of go over some of these reviews right now and just see what they say. So it says here, Team Dumbledore's shenanigans and the film's visual mastery managed to transport you to a different time and place. All right, sounds good. Why do we have to endure 2 more of these movies? David Yates needs to be freed from the shackles of the Wizarding World. Yeah, that don't sound too good right there. All right, here's another one. It says, ultimately, this Fantastic Beast has some moments of charm and energy, but falls prey to the same problem the 2 previous movies did. A story that's both too complicated and unintriguing. In short, not well told. That's kind of a thing that I was wondering when I started thinking about, okay, you got a good little franchise here, and of course they're going to want to tell more stories in it, and it kind of went all the way back in time, over 80 years back in time, to talk about Dumbledore, to talk about Grindelwald, and I'm assuming this is going to end with the famous duel from those 2 characters, and then you brought in Newt Scamander, which kind of made everybody go, wait a minute, why are we doing Newt Scamander and Fantastic Beasts? I think that was one of the things that kind of threw me for a loop, because I didn't think that was the time period that they should have went to. In my opinion, they should have did the Marauders, right? Like, if you're gonna do Harry Potter, you want to go back in time a little bit, do the Marauders. Potterheads, you know what I'm talking about. You can cast a young James, a young Lily, Snape, Peter Pettigrew, Remus. You could probably still use Michael Gambon as Dumbledore, but you go back and you tell that story, and you lead all the way up until you get right up until the events of the first film. Now, maybe that's just me, that's my opinion, but I don't know if this was necessarily like the best time period to really try to target in terms of, hey, what else can we do in this franchise? Let's see what else they're saying here. Let's read a good one. Fantastic Beasts: The Secret of Dumbledore is a step up from The Crimes of Grindelwald, but the flagging franchise is still struggling to justify the need to last for another 2 installments. Yeah, and that was the other thing. Like, I think if you do a Dumbledore Grindelwald feud story. You know, first of all, they kind of wasted the first film. They started it with Newt Scamander and kind of misdirected us, right? It's like, okay, this thing is going to be about Newt and beasts. We didn't know what they were going to do with it, but yeah, we were game. And then all of a sudden, you know, they showed the Johnny Depp reveal at the end. Oh, it was Grindelwald all along. And then they move into the second one, and now we're talking about Grindelwald and Dumbledore, and there's this whole thing with Ezra Miller's character, and it was like, what is this? What is this? What is this? It was just super confusing. And now, after this one, they got 2 more to get through. So I thought it would have been better as a trilogy. Hey, 3 stories, real tight, keep it slim, keep it trim. You don't have to go into do a whole lot of world building. We already know the world. I would have gotten Newt Scamander completely out of there, just made it about Dumbledore and Grindelwald, and that's it. But nevertheless, here we are. Let's see, what else we got? I didn't actively hate Fantastic Beasts, The Secret of Dumbledore, like I did the last one, or maybe simply because the bar had been set so low by The Crimes of Grindelwald, there was nowhere to go but up. All right. Yeah, I mean, these reviews are not sounding good. Even the good ones don't sound great. The Secrets of Dumbledore is a solid bounce back after the woeful yet somehow forgettable Crimes of Grindelwald, but it's far from a necessary entry in the Harry Potter universe. All right, so you can already see that this thing might not get the repeat viewings that it needs in order to succeed, because it's going to need a lot of repeat viewings, and I'm sure some of the more hardcore Harry Potter fans are definitely going to be down for that. Let's see, what else do we got? While The Secrets of Dumbledore looks very nice, it's a drudge to watch. You know, and I'm noticing like a lot of these scores, well, these scores are pretty good, 4 out of 5, 4 out of 5, but even some of these like 3 out of 5, 7 out of 10, you know, even some of the good reviews, you know, not getting, you know, necessarily high score. Well, this is a 4 out of 5. You know, yeah, 3 out of 5, 3.5 out of 5. So yeah, I don't know. We're gonna have to see how that's gonna roll. But let's go ahead and jump into my predictions, and let's see the things that are kind of standing in the way and what my numbers look like. All right, so here we go. The make it or break it numbers for The Secret of Dumbledore. So as you can see, has a $200 million budget. Needs to make $500 million to break even, kind of like the Batman, right? So what are we looking at? Who's in the way? Well, of course, we got Sonic, right? Sonic's on its second weekend. We're going to get to that in just a moment as well. And The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Now, that's coming up next week, not this week, but next week, along with The Bad Guys. Now, some of you guys say, well, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent is not family film, you know, it's not Sonic, it's not an animated film like The Bad Guys. So why is that in the way? Well, I think, again, they were speaking about the adult female audience and even the adult male audience as well. They're going to be attracted to that film. You know, it looks like a lot of fun, right? I mean, it's Nick Cage. He looks like it's kind of just self-aware. You know, hey, I'm Nick Cage. You know, it's about him. It's like he's playing himself. And it looks fun. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. It looks fun. And I know I'm going to go check it out. I can imagine a lot of folks that are into, you know, creative, kind of, you know, interesting, fun films. They're going to go check that film out. I'm not saying it's going to do bonker numbers or anything like that, but I think that that's going to definitely take a few seats away from The Secrets of Dumbledore. So I don't know how this is going to work out for that, but I do know, number one, Sonic is definitely going to make an impact. And then The Bad Guys as a family film itself, that's also going to cut into those numbers. So it's going to definitely steal a few seats away from The Secrets of Dumbledore. Now, what do I think the numbers are going to be, and what's my comparison film? Well, obviously, we're going to compare that to the film that just preceded it, The Crimes of Grindelwald. So you can see it had a $25 million Friday night, 62 million on the opening weekend, 159 for a domestic total, and a worldwide of 654. So Friday night for Secrets of Dumbledore, I'm thinking it's going to be somewhere in that $21 million range. And honestly, I might be overestimating that, just kind of based on where this film is lining up right now. Now, I do think the Potter fans are going to come out in force and they're going to do this film right. But it's everybody else around and all the negative things that have come out. You know, it's kind of a mixed bag. You don't know where to go. It's like, okay, I just mentioned like Hogwarts Legacy is getting the Harry Potter fan base kind of hyped up. But at the same time, you got the negative feelings from J.K. Rowling about how people feel about her. And then you also have the Depp trial. And that's kind of taking some of the energy. Look, there go Johnny Depp, like right there on that one side. And now he's completely gone out of the film. So I don't know how that's going to shake out. It's really really tough to call this, but I can see it landing somewhere in that $57 million range for the opening weekend. It might be a little above, it might be a little below, hard to say. Domestic total, I have this thing at $146 million, and then a worldwide of 585. And then you got to think about this, that 585 going from 654 to 585, this diminishing returns. It discussed it previously that the first Fantastic Beast actually did more money than the second Fantastic Beast, The Crimes of Grindelwald, and you can actually see that right here. When you look at the overall, you see that Fantastic Beasts 1 did 234 domestically, 580 international, for a total of $814 million. But then The Crimes of Grindelwald dropped in both of those categories. 159 million domestically, 495 international, for a $654 million worldwide gross. And I think, you know, based on, like I said, this story not really resonating with the Potter fans like it should, is going to continue to go down in that same fashion. So that's why I kind of said, yeah, 585, that sounds about right for where this film is going to end up. But let's go ahead and move on to a different topic that I wanted to discuss, and that would be good old Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, Sonic is going to be in its second weekend, right? So you start thinking, okay, what is that drop going to look like? You know, how much is Sonic going to drop from one weekend to the next? And it's a tough call because it did so great in the first weekend. So I decided to go and look at what did it do last time when Sonic 1 came out? What was the weekend drop like for that? And if you kind of check this out, you look at the second weekend and it's 54, let's just call it 55% drop, which is a pretty decent drop considering how much money it did. I'm thinking like it might be somewhere around the same 55%. So you start thinking, okay, 55% drop, that'll be about $30 million. That's not bad. You know, for a second weekend to do $30 million, that's pretty good. So is that what it's going to do? I think it actually could do even better because this film is getting great word of mouth, a lot of positive buzz coming out. And look, you know, I think a 50% drop is probably very realistic for this film, and that would be around $36 million. So you think about Sonic doing a 50 to 55% drop, somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 to 36 million in its second weekend for that type of a family film. And I think it's going to do great numbers throughout the week. You know, you got, I don't know what the numbers for Monday are yet. Let me see if you can find the Monday numbers quite yet. I don't think you can. I'm just going to go check it out real quick just to kind of see if they have those out yet. Nah, the Monday numbers aren't out yet on Box Office Mojo. But, you know, you figure, you know, the second weekend, you know, we're probably looking at, you know, somewhere in that neighborhood, like I said, a 36 million, 30 to $36 million. That would be incredible for Sonic 2. If it nails that on weekend number 2, woo, boy. I mean, you're talking about a major, major hit. And then it's just going to keep going because the following weekend, even though it's kind of competing with the bad guys, there's still going to be, if it's got that kind of buzz and that kind of following, there's going to be a lot more people that are going to go see this film, and it's just going to keep on stacking up. But that'll do it for this box office prediction. Folks, what do you think is going to happen this coming weekend? What's going to happen with The Secrets of Dumbledore? What's going to happen with Sonic on its second weekend? Go ahead and drop your predictions down below. Give me a opening night for Secrets of Dumbledore, opening weekend, and the worldwide total at the end, and then also give me a percent drop. What do you think the Sonic 2 is going to do on its second weekend for its drop? All right, that'll do it for me. I want to thank you for watching. See you next time.